Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today I want to talk a little bit about something that I just saw online that I thought was really interesting. I saw Luke, aka Luther Campbell, from previously from the Group 2 Live crew, and he seems to really be interested in politics, which it's certainly his right to do so. He's OG status in hip hop, and he's somebody that I'm sure has something to say, and I think it's worth hearing. But as you notice, he's become quite political lately. He's gained a lot of opinions when it comes to who we should vote for, and seems to be concerned that we're not all sort of jumping in line to support Kamala Harris. And again, that's his right. But at the same time, it's also our right to resist if we feel compelled to do so. I'm not telling you not to vote for Kamala. I'm just saying that I think that there's space for some sort of resistance on not letting anybody tell you what you should do with your vote. I don't believe anybody has a right to do that. I don't even believe I have the right to tell you who to vote for. I certainly don't have that right. And I want to just start the conversation there. Give me a yes. First of all, let me know you can hear me. Let me know. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a quick okay. What's up, Max Law, Justin Pender, Jermaine Trusty? I see you. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Let me know my audio is good. Also, give me a yes or no. Do you think that people should have the right to vote for who they want to vote for? Give me a yes. Give me a yes if you agree with me on one fundamental point. Do we fundamentally agree on the definition of freedom? Freedom means do what you want. Freedom means vote for who you feel serves your interest the best. Give me a yes if you agree. If you agree with that, then we can be friends. If you agree with that, then we can have a great conversation. If you agree with that, then there's nothing really to fight about. Do you understand? I believe in making things simple, and sometimes we make things complicated. Massa got us in a cage fight. Massa created this really jacked up two-party system, this ridiculous system where you literally have two options, Democrat or Republican for the most part. And both parties, Republicans and Democrats, are quite sinister when it comes to undermining your freedom. They are quite sinister when it comes to making sure that you have no choices. And so what ends up happening, tell me if you have seen this, if you've seen this regularly, when you're Black and you say, I don't want to be a Democrat, I don't want to vote for the Democrats. What do they call you? Tell me in the chat. What do people typically call you if you're Black and you say, you don't deserve my vote. You haven't earned it. I've been asking you for stuff for the longest time. You haven't given it to me. You're not delivering for our community. A lot of communities that are run by your people are destroyed. They're worse off than they were when you got there. What typically happens? What do people typically call you when you say, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do? When you say, I'm not going to do what I'm told? They start calling you a Republican. They call you a Trump supporter. It's an easy play. And let me just tell you why that is fundamentally flawed. And this is where my issue is with what Luke is doing. I was listening to his Twitter live, and I saw some other people in there, interesting people, Yvette Carnell, Tommy Sotomayor, a few other people. And I really just think that the problem that you have, it became a really dumb conversation, to be honest with you. It got to where people were cussing each other out, yelling and screaming at each other. You motherfuckers, you dumb motherfuckers, you stupid motherfuckers, who da-da-da, who da-da-da. I mean, I saw a lady, she was screaming her ass off. I wish I could have the recording. It was pretty interesting. She was screaming about, all of you dumb blankety blanks who won't support Kamala Harris. Wait till these Republicans get in office and look at what they do to you, and all this other stuff. And it just became a ridiculous conversation. It wasn't a productive discussion. It wasn't a discussion that it was going to bring anybody closer together. It was like a civil war. It was becoming a civil war. And I don't think that's productive at all. And what you have is you have a type of thinking that is not evolved in the sense that you don't understand who the real enemy is. The enemy, if you're a Democrat, your enemy is not Black people who won't vote Democrat. Your enemy is not Republicans. If you're a Republican, your enemy is not people who are not Republicans. Your enemy is the people who trapped you in this two-party system. It's the wealthy people. Now, mind you, the wealthy people who fund this two-party system, the wealthy people who put billions of dollars into making sure that no other political party can be built, the same wealthy people who gave money to the Democrats and gave money to the Republicans so they can file challenges, against Cornel West's campaign. We had we had Cornell's vice president, Dr. Melina Abdullah, on this platform. If you remember, she came in and talked about how the Democrats consistently did everything they could to undermine their third party initiative. The reason they get this money is because they're not really arguing over the same things you're arguing about. You're arguing about, certain legislation, maybe whether or not a trans person can use the girls' bathroom, or whether or not it makes sense for, for people to be able to have an abortion or not. They're not giving money because they care about that stuff. They're giving money because they're getting government contracts. They're getting money from the tech industry. Doesn't give billions of dollars to political campaigns because they care about gay rights or whatever you think that matters, or whether or not they think Trump is a good guy. They do it because Trump told them that he was going to get rid of the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, so that they won't get investigated for various forms of antitrust violation. So really, what you got to understand is you're playing a different game. You're playing the battle my neighbor game. You're playing the Civil War game. They're playing the big money game. So anyway, so I watched this live with Luke from Two Live Crew, and he was talking. He mentioned Nasheed's name in the title. I didn't hear Tariq's name come up during the conversation. I do know Tariq, and I did text him about it, and I was curious to get his perspective on it, and. And where I agree with Tariq, where I align with Tariq on this, is that I'm a strong believer in reparations. I also align with Tariq Nasheed because I get this idea and I agree vehemently with the idea that African Americans who are descendants of American slavery are owed a specific debt in our specific country for specific things that our specific families went through. Now, this does not mean I do not have the love and respect for Black folks all around the world. I just went to Egypt. Saw Black folks there in the Nubian village, been to Ghana, connected to people in the Caribbean, went to the Caribbean last year, all these places, and love them all. But I think that there is a conversation that certainly needs to be had between the Black people who have a lineage in America that goes back, say, 200 years to slavery, that has to be different and unique from anybody kind of rolling up and saying, hey, I like Kamala saying, hey, I got a Jamaican daddy, so that makes me just like you. I do think that Kamala and her lineage is different from yours. Kamala has full support of the Indian community. Let me ask y'all this: give me a yes or no. If your Black ass, your African American ass, how many of y'all are African Americans? Let's start there. How many of you are African American? Give me a yes in the chat if you are an African American and you believe you are a descendant of slavery. Now, if you're not excluded. I do not hate you. I love you. I probably will be defined as a Pan-Africanist because I love Black people everywhere. But how many of you are straight African American, like trace your great grandparents back to something that related to slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, all the other things that happened to Black people? Give me a yes if you're foundational Black American. You can call it FBA, you can call it ADOS, whatever you want to call it, B1. How many of you are in that category? All right, so as you put your yeses in the chat, let me ask you this other question. If you ran for president, if your African American butt ran for president, would you get as much support from the Indian community as Kamala Harris is going to receive? Yes or no? Would you be able to then play both sides of the fence and just say, hey, I decided I want to be more Indian today than I am Black, so I think I'm going to go to my Indian side from the people from India who are going to send money to help me to achieve my goals? And what do you think? The answer is no. Hell no. Hell no. Kamala is not the same as us, and it's not just identity politics. It's not just who she is. It's also what she's going to do, what the incentives are. And she's not lying about it. I mean, she's telling you how committed she is, for example, to Israel. That makes sense. But because Israel has AIPAC, they produce billions of dollars. They're not going to defy the Israelis and the Zionists. They're just not going to, because there's too much money involved. So that's Democrat and Republican, right? So what I'm going to say to you is that this conversation that I saw with Luke, I didn't like it because it was I listened to it for about 15 minutes and I said, man, all these people doing is they getting online and cussing each other out. And what are you cussing each other out about? Democrat versus Republican? Really? I mean, this ain't nothing but a political version of Crips and Bloods. That's what it is. It's gang warfare that's been created by other people. And I can tell you, I'm not really a fan of any of that. So let me kind of give you a different context on that. Now, before I move on, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget this podcast is on Spotify. So if you like the content here, you can find it on Spotify. Just look up my name, Boyce Watkins. I also give you stock market tips on another podcast I created called Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market. If you want to know what I believe, I'd rather tell you what I'm for than to tell you what I'm against. Now, if you talk to a Democrat, they'll tell you how much they hate the Republicans. You talk to Republicans, they'll tell you how much they hate the Democrats. I don't want to tell you what I'm against and what I hate. I'd rather talk to you about what I love and what I believe. And here's what I believe. I believe that wealth is the key to Black liberation. I believe that if we get our economics right, that will make us successful. If we push ourselves financially and make individual choices and family choices that are going to save our money, invest our money, build our wealth, I think that's going to do more than any Democrat or Republican's ever done. And if you don't believe me, go look at the history. If you don't believe me, go look at the facts. If you don't believe me, go look at the data. The data shows. Y'all can't argue with me on this. The data shows that under Democratic administrations for the last 30, 40, 50 years, Black wealth has gone down. Black wealth has not gone up. Under Republican administrations, the last 50, 60 years, Black wealth has not gone up. Black wealth has gone down. So at the end of the day, your wealth moves because you move. Your wealth moves because you make certain decisions. That's what I believe is the solution. So if you want to know what I'm doing, some people may say, well, what are you doing other than talking? Here's what we're doing. Every morning I have a PhD in finance. I understand money. I'm like a financial ninja. I know how this stuff works. So every morning we do something called financial consciousness training or economic elevation. It is a free class. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of you that are signed up for this free class. We meet every morning, 7 days a week. We train economic soldiers. We train our families and our children to be economic leaders. I went up to Atlanta for Invest Fest this weekend, but actually I was there for the Black Business Conference, and I'm going to tell you about both of those in a minute. And I saw a kid named Caden. Caden is 14 years old. Pay attention now. Listen to me. This is the future for the Black community. Caden's 14 years old, and I said, so you're starting high school? Wow. He said, no, I just graduated high school. I said, what? He said, yeah, I just graduated. And his father, who had been mentoring this kid, told me his son had finished high school. And I said, well, is he going to go to college? What's next? Pay attention. Listen to me. He said, no, because he makes more money than most college graduates. He's already a millionaire. I said, what? And here's the thing. I have been following Caden. Caden is a student of the Black Business School. Caden, he has been connected to us since he was 5, 6, 7 years old. And his parents, they didn't sit around and say, well, boy, you need to be a Democrat. Make sure you show up to your job. Get you a good Black job. And then you get you a good Black job. And then you're going to, you go to college, son, and go $200,000 in student loan debt. And maybe by the time you're 40, you'll have something. No, his father, who I talked to extensively, told me what his plans was for his kids. Both his kids are killing it. Both of his children are making more money than 90% of the people in this chat. So don't you tell me. And here's the thing about Caden. Let me tell you about this too. Caden could not talk until he was 5 years old. Caden could not talk till he was 5 years old. If Caden had gone to the public school, they would have ruined him like they do every other Black boy in these schools. And a lot of these schools are run by some damn Democrats. Damn teachers unions that don't educate our kids, don't give our kids what they need, and then you up here fighting for that. Why are you fighting for mediocrity? Why are you fighting for mediocrity? If you're going to do all that fighting, fight for some damn Black excellence. Fight for some Black success. Fight for some damn Black wealth. Fight to put some money in your pocket. Fight for your legacy. Fight for your family. Fight for something that's going to help you win. Stop fighting for Kamala Harris. Stop fighting for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris don't give a damn about none of y'all. She would lock half of you up if she had the chance. Donald Trump, I followed this man 35 years. He don't give a damn about you either. So what I don't understand is how in the hell we got a civil war fighting over people that ain't gonna never fight for us. Let me just say this. You will never, ever in a million years ever see Kamala Harris in a heated debate cussing somebody out over the fate of the Black community. You will not see that. You will not see that. Yeah, now maybe she'll go to the line for the Israelis, maybe she, so they can have nuclear missiles and whatever, because that's her job. But she gonna do that for you. And Donald Trump show us how he ain't gonna do it. So what are you fighting for? That's my question. What are you fighting about? Like, it's silly to me. It's as silly as fighting over whether or not you think the Cowboys are gonna beat the Giants. If the Cowboys beat the Giants, Jerry Jones is not gonna send you a check. Jerry Jones don't like you. He don't even know who you are. So you're majoring in the minors. That's what you're doing. When you get in these little civil wars, these little Negro fights, you're majoring in the minors. You're literally fighting and stressing yourself out, giving yourself high blood pressure, raising your cortisol levels over something that ain't gonna make a difference in the damn price of tea in China. So if you want to know what I believe in wealth. In fact, if you want to join us for Money in the Morning financial consciousness training, every day I have a PhD in finance, people. I know what I'm talking about. Economics is easy if you understand basic concepts. Text the word morning to 87948 and you can join for free. Text morning to 87948 if you live in other countries. Because again, because I defend the descendants of slaves does not mean I hate any black person around the world. I don't hate you. I love you. I love all my black folks in London. I love my black folks in the Caribbean. I love my black folks in South America. I love my black folks in Africa. I love my black folks all around the globe. And some of y'all that are isolated in places like China and Japan, I know y'all everywhere. I love you. So if you want to join class, you can join for free at drboyceelevate.com. You can also go to drboyceelevate.com in case you can't text the word morning to 87948. If you text morning to 87948, I'll send you an invitation tomorrow morning. We meet every single day, 10 a.m., 7 days a week, because that's what you got to do to be good at something. If you want to be a great basketball player, you practice every day. You want to be great at football, you practice every day. You want to be great at cheerleading, you practice every day. So we practice every day. We practice our economics every day. That's why we're the best. Anyway, Nat Cole says she's in Portland, Oregon. Wow, that's like being on Jupiter. Portland is a very weird place. But the liberals jacked up Portland, by the way. The Republicans have jacked up, places like Appalachia, right? They created all these meth addicts and fentanyl addicts, whereas Portland, ooh, buddy, Portland is a mess. I went to Portland. I went to the Nike place. Larry Miller, who was the CEO of the Air Jordan brand, invited me in and gave me a tour. Gave me a nice tour of the Nike campus. It's a beautiful campus, and let me just tell you, in the in Portland, that city is unfortunately it's been destroyed. It was destroyed during the pandemic, and it made me very sad. I did not feel safe in Portland. I could say that I did not feel safe in downtown Portland. I thought I was going to have to hurt somebody. But anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, so let me tell you about this weekend. This weekend, I went to Atlanta for the Black Business Conference. I also popped into InvestFest. And you know what I loved about my weekend in Atlanta? I told my friend about this. When I was there, met a lot of good people. I saw the brother. I didn't see all the brothers from EYL, but I saw Troy. He and I were together. I took a picture with him and bumped into Armando Panteo, tall guy tycoon who's doing great work in crypto. Ran into my homeboy Ash Cash. Saw my best buddy D1 who performed on stage, and also Dr. Ken Harris, one of the greatest leaders in this country. I met Black millionaires. I met Black people that are doing delegations to Africa. Dr. Ken Harris brought probably about 36 African countries over to do business with African Americans, and they're doing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in business. I talked to billionaire Mike Roberts, who's going to join us this year at the All Black National Convention, who told me about the radio station he just bought. He and his brother were on CNN because they own over $1 billion worth of hotels and communications companies. And he's going to be at the convention if you want to meet him. Allblacknationalconvention.com. I'll put the URL on the screen. And this is what my weekend was. These are the people I was talking to. I was talking to Black people who love Black people. I did not. And here's the beautiful thing about this weekend. Let me tell you what was awesome about this weekend. This whole weekend, when I was over at the Black Business Conference, when I was over at InvestFest, not one single time did I hear the names Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Not one time did I hear Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Not once. I did not hear. Think about this. In fact, I got there Wednesday. I was there till Sunday. I usually don't announce where I'm at until after I'm gone for security reasons. And I went to InvestFest, got so much love. I couldn't walk 10 feet without somebody stopping me. And that was, it was awesome to meet everybody. I was so impressed with all the young people. I saw thousands of young people gather together for the sake of building their wealth. I saw thousands of young people gather together for the sake of building for their family. I saw tens of thousands of Black people this weekend at the Black Business Conference and also at InvestFest who have an interest in building their wealth. I said, this is it. This is y'all. This is the juice. This is it. You are better than the previous generation. You are better than the civil rights generation because they should have been fighting for civil rights, civil rights too. You're better than the Generation X. You're doing better than the boomers. You're doing it, man. You are doing it. And I'm encouraging everybody in Gen Z, keep on doing it. Keep on building that wealth, keep stacking that paper, keep buying that real estate, keep making those moves, keep investing in the stock market. Did you know that 89% of the stocks are owned by only 10% of the population? Did you also know that every study shows that people who invest in the stock market have higher wealth than people who don't? So if you care about things like black wealth, then you're going to do things in your family that are going to help you to become successful, that are going to help you accumulate that wealth. And if you're not, if you think that the politicians are going to do it, then you're wrong. We sat under Democratic politicians, we sat under Republican politicians, and not one single time has black wealth gone up. In every single election, they do the same thing. They scare you. If you go to a Democrat and say, "Why should we support Kamala?" Oh, because if Trump comes in office, it's going to be Project 2025. I'm like, oh, that sounds what that sounds like? That sounds a lot like Vote or Die. Did anybody remember? How many of y'all remember Vote or Die when they were telling you that literally if you don't vote, you're going to be dead? What does that sound like to you? That sounds like people who sat in the lab and said, "Oh, we get it. Black people are easily triggered. If we just scare the shit out of them, then they'll just do whatever we tell them to do. We'll get them on that low vibrational frequency. We won't get them dreaming about the future because the Negro don't deserve to have a dream. We don't want black people dreaming and planning and preparing and being proactive. We need them to be nothing but reactive. We need them scared to death. We need them to be a bunch of bug-eyed slaves who are going to do whatever the hell we tell them to do. So every election, what they do is they do something to scare you. That's what they do. They just scare. That's it. It's an easy formula. If the other side gets in office, you go be dead. So you got to make sure you do anything you got to do to keep them out. We did 4 years of Trump. How many of y'all died during the Trump presidency? Did anybody give me a yes or no in the chat? Did anybody die during the Trump? Did any of y'all die when Trump was in office? Did any Republicans or Trump supporters show up at your house with an AK-47 and kill your whole family? How many of y'all went through that experience? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Did y'all die? See, what I want you to understand, here's what I want you to understand. I see you, Stefan Clay. You have a right to disagree with me. I forgive you. And I understand it. I used to be very, very into the Democrat Republican thing. Go look at some of the articles I used to write back in the 90s. I used to literally call the Republicans racist. I used to attack. And I didn't, and I don't disagree with a lot of the points I made. I mean, I stand by everything I've written on behalf of the black community for the last 30 years. But what I started finding is that what they don't tell you is that you find out eventually that the snakes are the ones that are also in your bed. You think the snakes are across the street, but you find out the snakes are in your bed. So I started seeing Democrats do things that were just as racist as the Republicans. I sat there and watched what happened in the Obama presidency. When I got excited and I supported Barack, I was one of the first people to predict that he was going to be president. Y'all don't know these things. This is, I guess I got OG status because around 07, 06, 07, I said on CNN that I believe this guy has a chance to win. And at that time, Barack only had 5% of the black vote. He was nowhere near Hillary Clinton. It was going to be Hillary's presidency, if you remember that. So I get it. I understand. I sat next to Al Sharpton and I saw the inner workings of the game. The Obama administration, the Obama White House used to call me all the time. And I told them to stop calling because I said, y'all a bunch of suckers. You out here using black people. You're lying. So my problem is that, see, the thing is, and then here's what I want to say. If you disagree with me, I agree. It's your right. I have no problem with that. But what I am going to say is I need you to at least hear me too. I can hear you, but I want you to hear me too. I want you to say, well, maybe Boyce isn't just trying to be a hater. Maybe Boyce ain't just trying to be asshole number one. Maybe he's seen some things up close that have said to him, like, okay, this ain't it. This ain't it. I've seen these administrations up close. I worked with Russell Simmons where we confronted the Obama administration in 2013 to get them to change laws on incarceration. It was like pulling freaking teeth. It was so hard. I was shocked by the fact that it was so hard. We had a letter that I wrote to President Obama. It got signed by 150 celebrities and scholars. It got signed by Chris Rock. It got signed by Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. It got signed by, all the rappers, Rick Ross and Lil Wayne and all kinds of people. Justin Bieber even signed the letter. And I said, I'll be damned. It takes a tweet from Justin Bieber to get y'all to do something that you promised to do during your campaign. This made me very disillusioned with American politics. This helped me understand that they don't care about you, man. So my point is not to say that you shouldn't vote for who you want to vote for. I want to reiterate that. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm just here to say, why are you fighting for somebody who don't care about you? If you had a daughter who was ready to fight another girl over a man who just peed on her, you'd probably have a talk with your daughter about her self-esteem. If you see two dudes about to take a bullet over a woman that that don't like neither one of them, that's taking both of their money, you'd probably say something to the guys like, "Hey, she ain't really it. This ain't really worth your life, man. This lady ain't worth doing 50 years in prison." So that's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying that these people don't care about you. And the best part of this weekend, when I went down to the Black Business Conference and Invest Fest, shout out to all of them. They did a great job. I didn't speak anywhere. I was very happy to not speak. It's very rare I go to conferences I'm not doing something. In this case, I just got a chance to walk around and take it in and enjoy it. The whole weekend, the best part of the weekend was I did not hear anything about Democrat, Republican. Not one single person got on stage at Invest Fest that I saw or the Black Business Conference and said the pathway to black wealth and prosperity is to all go out and vote for Kamala or to all go out and vote for Trump. Nobody said that. So that's my position on that. I think that Luke Luther, Two Live Crew guy, he has a right to have his opinion. I respect that. It seems like he's evolved out of hip hop. He's getting more political. I don't know his credentials in this area. I think that if I question his ability to do that, I think that's no different from if somebody questioned me if I decided I wanted to become a rapper. That I think that would be kind of weird, right? If I decided, hey, you know what, y'all, I'm about to drop an album. It's called Poppy Coochie Part 2, and I just want to be the new Two Live Crew. Instead of being Two Live Crew, I'm be Two Live Boys. Instead of being Dr. Boyce, I'm gonna be Two Live Boys, and I want to do what Two Live Crew did because apparently it must be easy because all you got to do is get some women up there to shake their cooches and in the camera and whatever. And I think Luke would probably question that. He would say, well, you don't really have the skill nor the background to do this. So I think the same thing is true when you see a rapper who decides that he wants to become a political analyst. Do you understand? I know he ran for mayor of Miami-Dade, and I respect that. I think that he's got the popularity to do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do, and I have no issue with him being involved with politics. But I also think that sometimes you also have to understand what you're skilled at and what you're not. The areas where you have experience and where you don't. The areas where you have training and where you don't. So even though, again, I mean, I've gone in the booth. I've done what rappers do. I have friends that are rappers. They've explained the game to me. D1's one of my buddies. I got a lot of other Willie D and Ice Cube, and I know all those guys, but never once did I really think I could rap as well as they do. So if I did decide to rap, I would do it carefully. I would go in with a respect for the game to basically say, look, hey Willie, man, I need you to help me do this. Hey D, can you help me put together a good song? Can you help me with the metaphors? I would ask for help. So I think that a Luke, and I'm not saying he doesn't do this, but I haven't seen evidence of this. I saw Cube do this, but I think that you should get help. You should listen to the people that have expertise in this area, and I think he's trying to do that. He had this live, but unfortunately, the only part I heard was like some women cussing each other out and all this other stuff. And also, I see him really advocating quite heavily for the Democratic Party, which unfortunately can give the impression that you're kind of in that camp with the D.L. Hugleys and the Plizes and just these people that are kind of like almost like puppets of the party. And I think that you can facilitate a political discourse within the Black community without committing to any particular side. I don't think that anybody who overcommits to the Democrats or overcommits to the Republicans is neutral enough to have a conversation that is required for Black people. For to be Black in a political conversation, you must overcommit to being Black. Overcommitting to being Black is like what Malcolm X used to talk about, where you don't give away your loyalty for nothing. You don't unconditionally commit to anybody. You don't say I'm a vote blue no matter who. That's a simple-minded perspective. You don't say I'm a Republican no matter what. You don't do that. What you do is you say I'm Black first. So let me hear from all the sides. Let me hear from all the parties. Let me hear every point of view. Let's talk about what the community needs, and then let's see if we can tether what they're going to do, what their policies are with what the community needs. And I don't know if people really do that. I think the best thing I ever hear is, well, the Democrats are going to do something for poor people and a lot of Black people are poor. Well, you can say that about anything. The Republicans can say, well, we're cutting taxes for the rich. There's a lot of rich Black people who are going to benefit from that. So what you're effectively saying is that Black people are everywhere, which is the truth. That's a truth that we don't want to deal with. We don't deal with the fact that Black people are diverse. Every Black person is not trying to get a better job. Some Black people want to build a better business. Every Black person ain't trying to get out of the projects. Some Black people been out the projects. Every black person ain't trying to figure out how to learn how to read. Some black people been knowing how to read. Some black people want something better than that. So I think that just the lack of understanding that we are different, we are diverse, and that we have different perspectives is a big problem. Anybody who says that because you're black, you're supposed to be a Democrat is fundamentally incorrect. And I think that is where we get dehumanized, even by our own. We get disrespected even by our own. We have people, even our own, who tell us that no, you need to fit in the masses box, and if you don't fit in the masses box, then you have no place here. I fundamentally disagree with that. So I'm going to just say this at the end. I'm going to go ahead and bounce out. Is I tried to listen to that live, and and I respect everybody that was there, but it just sounded like a bunch of cussing and yelling and screaming, and I just really hate seeing us waste all that energy fighting each other. I think if we put as much energy into building our wealth as we put into fighting for the Democrats and Republicans, we would be the wealthiest people on the freaking planet. If we tell me if you agree with that. If we put as much energy into educating our own kids instead of fighting over which white man's going to educate our kids will be the most educated in the world. If we were to put as much energy into rebuilding our families and learning the tools for that as we put into defending bullshit, defending Cam Newton wanting to have eight kids with three babies mamas, or defending this idea from men that single mothers are the problem, even though we play a role in the creation of single mothers, then we would have strong families. So what you're having is these imbalanced debates where you are so focused on whether or not you can have a discussion that you're not really asking if you should be having that discussion. You're so focused on what you can do that you're not thinking about what you should do. You're not thinking about where you should be applying your energy. And a lot of energy gets wasted. And the reason the energy gets wasted, the evidence of that is that if you look back, I want you to pay attention. I want you to look at the facts right quick. Look at how many decades black folks been arguing, fighting each other, cutting off relatives, threatening to beat each other up over Democrat Republican nonsense. And I want you to point to me any administration in the last 40 years that has significantly improved the conditions of black people in America. Every single year we at the bottom. Every single year we have the worst in terms of families. Every single year we're the worst in terms of education. Every single year we're the worst in terms of wealth. Every single year we're the worst in terms of income. So what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Why do you fight harder? Pay attention. Why do you fight harder to defend mediocrity than you're willing to fight to pursue excellence? Why do you fight harder to defend mediocrity than you're willing to fight to pursue excellence? If you want to know what the problem is, that's the problem. I'm not participating in none of that. I don't care. I don't give a damn who you vote for. I just want you to know that. So when you come to the convention, be prepared to be around people that want to elevate. Be prepared to be around people that want to be smarter. Be prepared to be around people that want to support each other. Be prepared to be around people that want to collaborate, not to compete. Be around people that want to see our community happy, prosperous, successful, connected, and winning. And I'm gonna just tell you, when I was this weekend, I keep going back to the Black Business Conference and Invest Fest, and in both of those events, the Black Business Conference had thousands and thousands of people. The president of Liberia came in. They're working to form connections with African Americans, so they're doing hundreds of millions of dollars in business. And y'all don't hear about none of that because y'all paying attention to rappers. Like you don't even know about black folks that are quietly forming these companies. I met a brother from the Department of Energy who had a PhD in applied physics from the University of Michigan, who's helping black businesses secure multi-million dollar contracts with the Department of Energy. You don't hear about none of that because that's not lit. That's not interesting. That's not entertainment. Because he can't dunk a basketball, but this man's doing very important work. So you got a lot of people in your community that are quietly getting it done, quietly building, quietly succeeding. And a lot of these folks came from regular, humble beginnings. Stop acting like they were all born with a silver spoon in their mouth. No, they went out and hustled and got them a silver spoon. Now they got the silver spoon in their mouth, but it's because they work for that damn spoon. Stop disrespecting a successful black man or successful black woman just because you unfortunately got stuck listening to people who wanted to keep you in the mud. Once you liberate your mind, you can climb to the highest heights of our society. Once you get out of your own way, you can become the greatest on the freaking planet. And that's all I want for you. So I'm not here. I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna fight with you over no Democrat, Republican stuff. I'm just not. So if people start fighting with me online, they're gonna be shadow boxing because I'm not even in that discussion. I done left it and elevated out the building. You and they're fighting. You fighting with the image of me. You're not fighting with me because I'm not going. When DL Hughley called me and cussed me out and threatened to beat me up and threatened to kill me, I don't know what the hell it sounded. It sounded like that. It sounded like he was real serious. I did not say a word because I'm like, I'm not going to fight a black man over Democrat, Republican stuff. I'm just not going to do it. I'll fight for our children. I'll fight for our wealth. I'll fight for our community. I'll fight for us to win, but I'm not going to fight you over that stuff because I don't think it makes a difference. I don't. I hope that your candidate wins. Good luck to you, sir. That's it, guys. I got to go. By the way, so tomorrow morning, we're going to meet for class. So if you are interested in economics, if you want to have money in your pocket and you want to understand how this money thing works, just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. It's called Money in the Morning Financial Consciousness Training. I also do have a training called How to Make Money Without Working. And that has to do with the power of stock options, selling stock options to make money. Buying options and day trading is very risky. I'm not really into that. But if you sell stock options, there's great ways to make money. When I went to Egypt, I met families and couples who literally told me that they literally use their stock options money to go to Egypt. And I know exactly how they do it. And it's something anybody can do. You can train your kids to do it. And it's a much better way to make money than going to work every day. So if you'd like a free copy of that training, How to Make Money Without Working, just text the word money to the number 87948. And again, it's not hocus pocus. My doctorate's in this stuff. It's easy stuff to know. It's just most of us never get taught this stuff. So anyway, have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to check back in with you guys real soon. Actually, I'm going to be on drboystv.com tonight. I'll probably go live and I'm gonna hang out with my homeboys and play some Call of Duty. That's what I do for fun. My son got me playing video games, and I found that I really like it. So if you want to see a 50-year-old man go in here and get his ass kicked, feel free to join me at drboystv.com. So love you guys. I'll see you in the morning as well, and have a good night. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV.